Hello, everyone. Good morning or good afternoon. Welcome to the EU Business Hub, Japan and the Republic of Korea launch event. We are thrilled to have you join us for this very first online event of the EU Business Hub program. That will last until 11:30, let's say 1 hour and a half, wherever you are. My name is Nathalie Nupadja. I am the project manager of the EU Business Hub program, an EU funded initiative that supports EU small and medium sized enterprises, SMEs, in the green, digital, and healthcare sectors to enter the markets of Japan and the Republic of Korea. This program will organize 10 business missions to Japan and 10 to the Republic of Korea over the next 4 years. Each business mission will allow a group of 50 cutting edge companies to benefit from extensive business coaching throughout their participation. Today, we'll discover the details of it. You'll see in the next hour and a half many links to newsletters, websites, calls for applications, and many tools for you to connect to the program. Certainly, we'd like to already know you, and I'd like to already ask all of you to log in to your YouTube or Google accounts in order to be able to participate in the chat and ask your questions to speakers and to the EU Business Hub team. You can see here some of the practicalities. So I'm honored to be your moderator today. And as you see now on the screen, we have some housekeeping points. If you have any questions, we can please read them in the chat. But for doing so, you need to be logged into your YouTube or Google account because we are hosting this event on YouTube. This event is also being recorded and will be shared on the EU Business Hub YouTube channel. So, if you miss anything or want to revisit any part of today's discussion, you'll have the chance to do so. Additionally, if you encounter any technical issues during the event, please don't hesitate to let us know by writing in the chat too. Our wonderful team is here to assist you. So, as you have understood now, I have the honor to be your moderator today, and we will be giving the floor to an exciting lineup of speakers. Presentation of the agenda. Over the next hour and a half, we have 6 rounds of discussions and 1 Q&A session. As you can see, it's quite packed, but very intense, hands-on, and also concrete and practical information for you to connect with us later on. Voilà. I hope I gave you enough time to connect to Google, YouTube account, be in the chat with our team who's there to answer your questions, to the speakers we will have. Right. So now we'll go in the first round of discussions, the welcoming and opening session. Without further ado, let me now give the floor to the EU delegations in Japan and the Republic of Korea, the founders of this program, starting with our first speaker, Her Excellency Maria Castillo Fernandez, EU Ambassador to the Republic of Korea. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. And a very good morning to all of the participants from Europe and an afternoon in Japan and Korea. I'm very happy to be able to join you today in this very important joint event, which represents a very tailor-made program for both Korea and Japan. We have been working, our teams have been working very closely and for many months to make this event happen. And I hope it really contributes to promoting European competitiveness through supporting trade and investment opportunities, the internationalization of European business and resilient supply chains, and mainly with a very big focus on SMEs and startups. As you well know, we cannot do this alone. We need to build partnerships. And of course, both Korea and Japan are our very close partners to work with. For Korea, and that is what I am going to speak about. Europe is the third trading partner and the first foreign investor. So we are very well positioned to continue strengthen our trade and business links. We know, we have a EU-Korea free trade agreement already since 2011, and certainly a very successful tool. It has doubled our trade since it entered into force, and today we have a bilateral trade of 130 billion euros. So very near the one that Europe has with Japan, with two different economies. Last year, we celebrate our 60th anniversary. The One Hub, as the Koreans call, a very important moment in our relationship. And it was a moment to take stock, but also to look at the new opportunities. We managed to launch three very important partnerships, and these are related to our EU Business Hub. These are the Green Partnership, the Digital Partnership, and the Health Partnership. Together with that is to work together for this very big transformation of our societies into more green and digital. And for that, we also need a lot of innovation. And at the same time, we managed to finalize the negotiations for Korea to become an associated country to our big research and development program, Horizon Europe. And that includes more than 100 billion euros for research and innovation. Very, very important. You cannot do the digital and green transition without all this innovation together. Another positive element is that we are negotiating our digital trade commitments, and this is very important because this will certainly help all this digital partnership and digital transition. With all this big framework, we managed to have a very positive impact, trickle-down effects, and this opens a lot of new opportunities for our business and for our trade relations, both in Korea and Europe. And implementing this partnership is one of the biggest tasks that my team has here in Korea. That's why it's very important that we can use the European Business Hub as a tool to help us implement and to seek a real action on what do we mean with this partnership. It's a very important tool because it's geared towards SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises and startups, and that offers them opportunity to also hug into the free trade agreement and into these partnerships. Help them how to use these tools in a better way for them. It also reinforces our external action towards SMEs because they are sometimes overlooked in our trade policies. So just to show that we care for you and that we want to help you. We have to work together with all stakeholders, including in EU member states. We need to work together with the trade promotion organizations, with the chambers of commerce, and all the other initiatives to seek synergies and complementarities. This is a EU27 program. This is done for you to work and to get into the Korean market as easy as possible. We have chosen, as Natalie said, three important sectors, but they really are tailor-made for our three important partnerships: the Green Partnership, the Digital, and the Health Partnership. So certainly there we see a lot of potential. In many sectors, both Europe and Korea are very strong, and therefore we just need to see how we can complement each other, how we can use this for more opportunities, for more trade and more business together. This is what the message I wanted to send you. But before closing up, let me thank very much and acknowledge the role that our partners, both Deloitte, but Euro Chambers, DT Global, and EMECA, will play in the implementation of this program. They will work very closely with our delegations and with our member states in Korea. And we thank all of you for this interest. I hope to see you in the launching event, not in the launching, in the first mission in Korea in December. And certainly we all have to aim to at least work with 1,000 SMEs that are willing to go into this market. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Castillo, for your inspiring remarks and for reaffirming the EU's dedication to strengthening partnerships in the Republic of Korea. Your insight sets a powerful tone for the continued collaboration ahead, and I can tell you that more than 250 participants, thanks for the audience to have participated in the poll, is listening to you. They heard, and more than half of them are business support organizations. We count on to passing the message and contributing to your efforts for more trade and business together, if I may quote you. So thank you very much. And with that, I now have the honor of giving the floor to His Excellency Jean-Éric Paquet, EU Ambassador to Japan.
Thank you very much, Nathalie. It's always a pleasure and also always very nice and easy to come after Maria. I think what she said so eloquently for the relation between Europe and Korea very much also applies to the economic partnership between Japan and the European Union. And I think if you are joining us today, it's because you have, all of you, well spotted the potential for your members or for yourselves, if you are a company, to engage, understand, connect, and join the market here in Japan or the markets in Korea. We have with Japan also an economic partnership agreement, a free trade agreement, which really covers all of the ground and therefore allows economic actors on both sides to team up and create economic relations in a very flexible and complete manner. So the institutional legal framework is all available. And in terms of the interests of governments and administrations, as is the case for Korea, here in Japan, there's also a Green Alliance on the one hand and a digital partnership. So we are very keen to promote work in the regulatory sphere, but also to promote strategic connections between economic actors to facilitate indeed the deployment of clean technologies in Europe and in Japan, to work on the resilience of our clean technology supply chains. I think there's a lot which we can do together, Korea and Japan, on wind, on solar, on hydrogen, and many other renewable energy and the main elements in different sectors of this clean tech transformation. And similarly, we hope to see even more work taking place between Europeans and Japanese across the digital sphere, from chips to applications, data flows, and the rest. So I think the real challenge, which I think is one which one needs to really accept and deal with head on, is that working across Europe and Japan or Korea is not something which is so straightforward. There's geographical distance. These are two different economic, political, decision-making cultures. Japan is certainly a place where you need to earn the trust of your interlocutors or your future partners. I don't think it's so different in the European Union either. And for all those reasons, seizing the opportunities which are there requires indeed a major investment and effort to become visible and to, as an actor, find indeed the partners, the contact points to establish yourself across these two markets. That's very much what the EU Business Hub is all about. And we are here in the delegation in Tokyo, in the European Embassy in Tokyo, very, very keen to see these 10 missions of 50 European companies arrive in Japan at the end of 24 and then throughout the following years. You can count on the EU delegation to work with our project partners to ensure that we find the best possible places for you to meet and engage with relevant partners here in Japan, to make the effort you will put into it worthwhile, and to ensure that out of this very significant investment, also for the European budget and taxpayer, that we see indeed many corporations flourish and establish themselves over time. There is, of course, a track record. There was a previous SME project on which we built. We also have in Japan the benefit of having the EU-Japan Industrial Cooperation Center, a center of composed of Commission colleagues and colleagues from the Ministry of Economics and Industry, METI, and this center will coordinate closely with the EU Business Hub project to ensure that SMEs which are promoted and presented to Japan can benefit from these two platforms in a smart way, and that both processes will fully reinforce each other. So again, if you're here as trade promotion organizations or as companies, it's because you're interested in Japan. As I said at the outset, you are very right to be interested in Japan. Japan is interested in you as well, and we are very much there to help make this interest materialize. So best of luck to all of you, and much looking forward to see the deployment of that project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Ambassador Jean-Éric Paquet for his warm welcoming words and this keynote address. Your presence here today, Ambassador, underscores the EU's commitment to fostering stronger ties with Japan. And for your team, many thanks to support these efforts of EU companies will put in for this collaboration. We'll dive now immediately in a moment on how to foster more work between EU and Japan and how to help EU SMEs seize these opportunities you were mentioning. Thank you very much. And now I am pleased to introduce Tanit Bello, the leader, the driver of the EU Business Hub program, the program officer at the EU delegation to the Republic of Korea, who is our main driver for the program. She will shed light on the significance of the EU Business Hub program. Tanit, the floor is yours.
Very good morning and afternoon to all, and a very warm welcome. Thank you so much, Natalie, for the great introduction. Too much. Thank you. I'm very pleased to be joining you here today for the EU Business Hub getting officially into action. A course of action that is directed at strengthening EU business internationalization, export and investment activities to implement the digital and green transformation by seeking partnerships with Japanese and Korean businesses. So I can't echo much more what the two EU ambassadors have already said. And you will hear all about what the program offers and how it works shortly. So allow me to focus on why and how the program is relevant. On the why, we have heard already from the ambassadors that SMEs are the backbone of Europe's industry and economy. No doubt that they are central to Europe's economic and social fabric, drive Europe's green and digital transitions, and support long-term prosperity. And they are key players in building resilient supply and value chains. At the same time, we know that they do face some challenges for achieving sustainability and keeping competitiveness in the current context. That among these challenges may be the struggle of accessing markets and keeping up with all the activities that lead to business relationships with foreign partners. And here is where the EU Business Hub in Japan and in the Republic of Korea is relevant, because it focuses on providing enabling services that meet the needs of SMEs and startups in this process of achieving internationalization. On the how the program is relevant, let me just elaborate very shortly on three main features underlying this program. I would say reliability, structure, and ambition. On reliability, the EU Business Hub in Japan and the Republic of Korea builds, as Ambassador Paquet said, on the lessons learned of more than a decade of successfully implementing EU foreign policy instrument programs and promoting international partnerships and business cooperation, such as the EU Business Avenues and EU Gateway to Japan and Korea implemented in the past. In other words, This program builds on solid records of accomplishments and well-proven, fine-tuned methodology that can play a reliable catalyzing role for partnerships building in these two markets. On structure, the program has a clear, controlled, and time-bound 10 steps approach to planning, organizing, and delivering services in business missions in the three sectors already mentioned: green and low carbon technologies, digital solutions, and healthcare and medical equipment. This is only for Korea. And it delivers integrated services ranging from systematic business coaching, market and sector studies, industry briefs to prepare European SMEs and startups for entering the markets in Japan and in the Republic of Korea. It delivers customized services, logistical support and promotion in the target markets, and organizes individual and tailored B2B matchmaking for hopefully establishing long-lasting partnerships with local companies and key players. Lastly, my last point is on ambition. This EU Business Hub for Japan and the Republic of Korea ultimate goal is to boost the presence and visibility of EU SMEs, and startups, companies operating in these three sectors, to get concrete business deals and durable partnerships, strengthen EU business internationalization, export and investment activities, and foster more resilient, sustainable, and technologically advanced value chains in both Asian markets. I'd like also to conclude, echoing what has already been said, on the key role that the EU partners will play in the implementation of this program. I'd like to thank Deloitte Belgium, Deloitte Japan, Deloitte Korea, DT Global, Eurochambers, the Association of European Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and its network of national, regional, and local chambers of commerce, as well as the bilateral chambers of commerce and industry in Japan and the Republic of Korea, and EMECA, the European Major Exhibition Center Association. But I would also like to flag that we're currently exploring synergies with key stakeholders such as the European trade promotion organizations in Japan and the Republic of Korea, the Enterprise Europe Network and its EEN contact points, the Clusters Network through the European Cluster Collaboration Platform, and we are ambitiously aiming to explore more synergies with EU 27 member states multipliers and Japanese and Korean stakeholders to hopefully making this EU program a success for our SMEs and startups. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Tanit, for your dive a little bit more into the program and letting insightful remarks for the SMEs and business support organizations to listen to us and to be also eager to hear the rest, because we'll dive into the details in the moment. And I have the pleasure to tell you that we are now reaching more than 300 participants listening to us today. So thank you very much to the audience, to the participants. I also hear a lot of interactions, reactions in the chat, in the YouTube chat. So you might see on the screen time to time some of the comments or questions appearing. We might not answer immediately the questions. There is a Q&A session at the end. I have an eye on the time. If we can, we will address some. If not, we leave it for the Q&A. But very interesting to see that we have an active and dynamic exchange in the chat. So, building up on Tanit's insightful remarks, we are now excited to explore those opportunities, those challenges for European businesses in Japan and the Republic of Korea. So, in this next building block of our agenda, through the expertise of Kotaro Saito and Jungle Kim, our sectoral experts, we will now gain valuable insights on the business potential of the following three sectors, as you know now: green and sustainable technologies, digital solutions, healthcare and medical equipment, within the two Asian markets. So, now we will give the floor to Kotaro Saito, who will provide us with an overview on how the bilateral partnership between the EU and Japan can foster business collaborations in terms of innovation, trade, and investment to support the green and digital transition. Kotaro, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Natalie-san, for the introduction. But sorry for the background. Is not neatly set. I'm Kotaro Saito at Deloitte Tohmatsu Risk Advisory, based in Japan. And I'm mainly focusing on climate change related offering, including ICT area as well, for both public and private sector clients. Today, I will briefly talk about policy status and market situation, covering both green transformation and digital transformation field in Japan. Next slide, please. With regard to key initiatives by Japanese government for green transformation, the government prepared and is implementing green growth strategy to achieve carbon neutrality by 2050 and intends to support industrial development and boost our economic growth. And some policy packages are planned or already in place for growth sectors, such as initial investment plan, carbon pricing, transition bond, and so on. Next slide, please. There are 14 growth sectors set and roadmaps towards 2050 are discussed and formulated. 14 growth sectors are divided into 3 categories. One is energy-related industries, such as offshore wind power, solar, heat energy, hydrogen, and fuel ammonia, and so on. Another category is transport manufacturing industries, such as automobile, storage batteries, semiconductors, etc. Third category includes home office related industries, such as resource circulation and so on. Next slide, please. Oh, the background, before, previous one, please. Yes. The slide shows example of the carbon neutral technology solution towards 2050. The horizontal axis represents TRL, technology readiness level, meaning technology maturity level, and the vertical axis represents the level of carbon dioxide reduction cost per ton of CO2. Technology listed in the green box A is technologically mature and has a low carbon dioxide reduction cost. Represents those are proven technologies and market already exists. So we hope that company with this technology will actively participate in this market. Orange box B, while technology are mature and cost is expensive, companies that have the know-how and strategies to reduce costs are encouraged to enter this market. Blue box C is technologically immature, but costs are low. And we hope that companies with the advanced technology will actively participate in this field. The last one, red box D, is technologically immature and cost is expensive. We expect the technology breakthrough in this category occurred in the future, and EU-based companies may have the seeds to solve it. Next slide, please. In the 5 years, or these 5 years, the market size of environmental related industries have amounted over 100 trillion Japanese yen, which is nearly 550 billion euros. In terms of breakdown, the waste management and circular economy and climate change market dominates. By the Japanese government, the market size in Japan is estimated toward 2050, and it's growing to approximately 123.7 trillion Japanese yen, which is nearly equals to 700 billion euros. And almost 50% of the market in 2050 will be for climate change, followed by waste management and circular economy. Next slide, please. And I will talk about digital transformation in Japan. The digital agency was established and is focusing on the development of the digital field. The mission of this agency is human-friendly digitalization, no one left behind, and its initiatives consist of 6 basic policies and 6 basic strategies. Next slide, please. Here is an example of a specific initiative implemented in Japan, which is called Digital Garden City Nation. Digiden is what is called. The goal of this initiative is to use digital technology to revitalize rural areas and create a sustainable economy and society as Japan. The emphasis is on bridging the digital divide, supporting digital implementation rural areas, such as super city development, utilizing mobility as a service, and so on. Next slide, please. This slide shows a brief image of Japanese tech market overview. Information and communication technology includes devices and terminals that serve as contact points for users, networks provided by telecommunication carriers and broadcasters, cloud data centers, content and services such as video and music distributions, as well as security, cybersecurity, and AI. Next slide, please. And this slide shows new trends in data distribution and utilization. Web3 and its applied technologies, metaverses and digital twins, the use of generative AI are the new trends seen in Japanese ICT field. From an industrial sustainability perspective, there is a potential market in that all infrastructure is being digitized and modernized. So industry supply chain and power grids, factories, and ESG data visualization for companies' sustainability reporting, and cybersecurity is an important area to focus on. I think I have just covered my presentation topics. Thank you very much for your attention.
I'm sorry, there's a bit of a technical issue. Sorry for intervening, but Natalie, we cannot hear you for a couple of seconds. I'm sorry, we're going to have to rewind back from just after Kotaro's presentation.
Thank you, Joanny.
That.
Thank you, Joanny. Now I believe you do hear me. So I just wanted to say thank you to Kotaro for his comprehensive overview. And I'm sure now the audience is thinking about their next business mission to Japan. Your insights have provided a solid foundation for our discussion, but also thinking on how to address the challenges ahead. Before moving on, I'd like to voice that some participants are seeing the slides as if they were blurred. This is not the case for all. It's definitely maybe a connection issue. So if you can double check your connection and in the case that you see the slides blurry or not very clear, might come from your end. So please double check your connection and go back to the chat to our team to voice it. And in any case, after the event, as I was also mentioning at the beginning, you will have access to the recording, including to the slides you've seen. So there will be access after the launching event. Now, let's move on with our next expert, Jungle. With the Republic of Korea's rapid advancements in technology and innovation, we are eager to discover more about potential opportunities in the market for collaboration between the EU and Korean businesses, particularly in the field of digital solutions, green technologies, and healthcare. Jungle, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Natalie. Hello, everyone. I'm Jungle. You can just call me Jungle, which is my nickname. Actually, I'm in charge of the EU partnership with the Republic of Korea Sectoral Insight at this program. Although the time is very limited, it's a great honor to present this part above all. Let's get started quickly with a rough introduction to the current situation of trade and investment between EU and Republic of Korea. Next slide, please. Yes, there it is. Actually, the Republic of Korea is one of the most dynamic economies in the world, as you know, with a GDP of 1.7 trillion US dollars as of 2023. And also, the country ranked the 13th largest economy in the world and 4th largest economy in Asia. Especially since entry into force of the EU and ROK free trade agreement on July 1st, 2011, bilateral trade and investment have remarkably expanded. The FTA has served to create an expanded and secure market for goods and services, as well as a stable and predictable environment for investment, thereby contributing greatly to strengthening and deepening the bilateral trade and investment relationship. Especially this kind of bilateral trade between the EU and the ROK remains highly concentrated in the industrial sectors, as you can see on the right or left side. So actually represented 96% of total bilateral trade in goods in 2023, including machinery and appliance, transport equipment, and chemicals. And the FTA between the EU and the ROK had a very positive impact on trade in services over the past decade. Especially the EU has been consistently registering a surplus in trade in services with the ROK, marking a record trade surplus in 2012 worth 8.4 billion euros. In 2022, between EU and ROK trade in services remained concentrated on the handful of sectors: transport, telecommunications, computer and information services, royalties and license fees, and maintenance and repair services. Please, next slide. Yeah, actually, before getting into the three sector insights, let me just briefly show off our country outlook. As you can see, the Republic of Korea is well known for the modern, dynamic, creative, and safe and tech-savvy country, of course, including North Korea. And then, according to the data Bloomberg Innovation Index, Korea is world's most innovative economies. Next slide, please. Yeah. And also in terms of the economic outlook, Republic of Korea, our GDP growth will accelerate to 2.7 points in 2024. And also our business environment will improve in next 5 years, leading to a rise in its ranking, both regionally and globally. Steady progress will be driven by specific policies that are friendly to private enterprise, including SMEs and startups and foreign trade. Next slide, please. All right, and let's talk about each sector. Actually, for the green and low carbon technologies, based on the strong green growth movement in Korea, there are different types of industrial ecosystem, and also the master plan for carbon neutral and green growth as of 2023. This kind of policy and regulations and infrastructure will lead this sector continuously. We have also the really small successful story based on the Danish company Vestas. Actually, they invested approximately $3 million, including the establishment of turbine parts production plant here in Korea, and they will be get along together to enhance their business here in Korea and also in the European market. Next slide, please. Let me get into the digital solutions. Actually, as you had already known about the infrastructure and the level of the digital services of South Korea, Actually, the environment is, we can say, world's best ICT and digital powerhouse in terms of the adoption of the digital solutions and services and soft power and soft content and infrastructure of ICT. So all this kind of industry, this sector has been grown up rapidly. And also this ICT industry contributed to the nation's economic growth by accounting for 30 to 40% of total exports. So in this sector, it's really huge and it's really attractive for the EU companies who want to get into the market, especially in the Asian market. Not only because the Asian market, but also getting into the other global markets regarding this sector, digital solution sector. Next slide, please. And also, finally, the healthcare and medical equipment, this market has been increasing a lot also, and especially the Korean government and Korean state, many different types of stakeholders has invested a lot in this sector. Especially the surrounding of South Korea is known for the world's most aged society, which means that the opportunity, especially business opportunity for the European companies who want to get into this healthcare and medical equipment market in Korea is going to be really huge. So it's based on the amount of investment in digital healthcare area, especially the device and software, and the platform and data infra, all these different types of sector, sub-sector will be increasing a lot. So this kind of sector, three sectors, you can see so many different types of opportunities and some relationships between two parties. And especially Korean government has a very friendly policy towards EU companies, and companies are also very interested in the European market. So Korea must be a very attractive market because of its market growth potential and competent companies in these three sectors. So I really hope for all of you to get along together with this partnership and collaboration program, and then you can get a better solution and you can get a better idea together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jungle. I hear that there are some interesting questions in the chat and they would like to know more. We'll answer all of this during the Q&A, or it can be picked up in the chat of YouTube. We need to move on, unfortunately, but thank you for detailing the different types of opportunities for the free sectors, confirming the attractiveness of the Korean market. This program will make sure that we all get a better idea on how to do this together. And for this, I really count on Sebastian, our next speaker, to give us a program overview and to dive into how EU SMEs can use us to enter those markets. Thank you. Hi, Sebastian.
Thank you so much, Natalie, and welcome to all of you joining us from the EU, from Japan, and the Republic of Korea. My name is Sebastian van der Pijl, and I'm the team leader for the EU Business Hub program. In the next 15 minutes, or perhaps a bit less if I can, I will present a brief overview of the program, the objective, scope, and approach to supporting EU companies in establishing lasting business cooperation with counterparts in Japan and the Republic of Korea. The preceding speakers have already summarized a number of key elements that the program provides, and I'll try to enumerate those and explain those in a bit more detail. And as mentioned by Natalie, should any further questions remain, please put those in the chat so we can answer them there or maybe take them up during the Q&A later. So if we can go to the first slide, then we can see, as has already been mentioned, that the EU Business Hub program is the latest in a long-standing series of EU-funded programs for business-to-business cooperation. The EU initiative started in Japan in the early 90s and expanded to Korea in 2008. You may have heard of the EU Gateway or the EU Business Avenues programs that preceded the current EU Business Hub program. And from the period of 2008 to 2016, I have also been involved in the implementation of that program. And I think that experience of the program is something that we can build upon in order to provide the best experience for the companies that will join us in our business missions. On the next slide, a bit more about the program. That is an EU-funded program to support EU-based SMEs that operate in the green, digital, and healthcare sectors to enter the markets of Japan and the Republic of Korea. And we will do that by organizing 10 missions, business missions to Japan and 10 to the Republic of Korea over the next 4 years. Each of these business missions will allow a group of 50 cutting-edge EU companies to benefit from extensive business coaching throughout their participation. On the next slide, the program in numbers, we will focus on 3 different sectors, the green and low carbon technology sector, digital solutions sector, healthcare and medical equipment sectors. And we will cover 2 different markets, Japan and the Republic of Korea. And through a total of 20 business missions over the next 4 years, the program aims to support about 1,000 EU companies to establish successful business partnerships in these markets. On the next slide, briefly, the objectives of the program are to facilitate trade and business cooperation with Japan and the Republic of Korea in close alignment with the recent green and digital partnerships between these countries and the EU. We will provide tailored assistance to selected EU SMEs to establish successful business connections locally in these target markets. We'll promote the visibility of both the EU brand and, of course, the EU businesses that are selected. And we will do that through targeted promotion campaigns in Japan and the Republic of Korea. And to enhance a successful implementation in their international business strategies, we will provide the EU companies with a better understanding of the local business culture, the market rules, the practices, etc., through enhanced market insights by sector experts such as those you have just heard. Next slide. As mentioned, and I think also asked on the chat, if I saw that correctly, we focus on 3 main sectors, of which 2 will be covered in Japan. That's the green and low carbon technologies and digital solutions, and 3 in Korea, adding the healthcare and medical equipment sector to the mix. Next slide, please. So our aim is to provide the EU companies with strategic coaching. Coaching that helps them succeed in these target markets. And this consists of a number of different things. First of all, in the application period for each business mission, we will coach companies during the process in order to prepare for the selection process. Once companies have been selected, we will provide business intelligence to help companies be prepared before they embark on the week-long visit to the target market as part of their business mission. We will undertake tailored matchmaking efforts for each participant to ensure that they have relevant business meetings with potential counterparts planned before they go on the business mission. And there are a number of networking opportunities that are provided throughout the mission. Additional services are also organized by the program on demand, including the provision of advice on legal and regulatory frameworks and certification matters. And this and other services, such as translation, printing, etc., will be co-funded by the program as well. And to maximize the focus on successful connections, the program provides interpretation and translation services to bridge any linguistic barriers that are likely to occur. And last but not least, the logistics of the entire business mission will be supported by the program so that the participants can focus on implementing their international business strategy. On the next slide, a brief look on what a standard business mission agenda looks like. So the program covers an agenda with activities over 5 days and 4 nights, including networking events, in-depth briefing sessions, study tours and site visits, and 3 exhibition days that also include matchmaking activities. This provides EU companies with ample opportunity to meet relevant counterparts, exhibit their products and services, and gain insights to put their business strategy into action. On the next slide, a bit more detail on the eligibility criteria for the program. So eligible EU SMEs and startups can apply for our business missions through our website. And to do that, they should be in business for 5 years or 3 years for startups and be able to provide insight into financial figures for the last years, be entirely or majority EU owned and headquartered in the EU, be active in one of the economic sectors covered by the program, but not as business consultants, have existing international experience outside the EU, have an internationalization business strategy, and have sufficient resources to successfully enter the target markets. So over the next 4 years, such eligible companies can participate up to 3 times, of which 2 times to the same country, either Japan or the Republic of Korea, and once more to the other target markets. And this is key, because implementing a successful international business strategy is not a one-shot approach. It should be nurtured over time to achieve lasting business connections. On the next slide, each business mission starts with the expression of interest by EU companies. That is followed by an application form that will be filled out and then screened and assessed as part of a selection process to be part of the selected group of high potential companies that will join us in the business mission. And once selected, companies will be invited to a pre-departure meeting to kickstart their preparation for the business mission, which includes briefing sessions on local business culture, market specifics and opportunities, and working sessions with business coaches to prepare for the matchmaking and other activities of the business mission. Then, of course, the business mission will take place about 3 months after the selection of participants, providing ample time to ensure a well-prepared business mission. After the mission, the program will stay in touch with the participants to collect their feedback and assess the success of the business mission up to 1 year after the mission. The methodology and the approach to the business mission and the fully fledged program of activities is based on many years of experience, as I said before at the start of my presentation. We build on this and we ensure a continuous learning and improvement process to enable us to provide an optimal experience for EU companies to kickstart their international business strategy in Japan and or the Republic of Korea. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sebastian. What I understand is that this is like royal treatment, if I may say, for the EU companies.
If you will.
Huh? So now we have more info on the sectors, on the coaching, on the business mission agendas. Hope you are all convinced to join this program or to pass on the message. Sebastian, please stick around as I saw many questions in the chat. Some were actually shared with us on the screen, like the solutions that are at crossroads between different sectors. How do we deal with this? So we will have a specific Q&A in a moment, so don't go away. We'll answer all your questions in the chat or in the Q&A, if not afterwards. So thank you, Sebastian. And to not have further delay, I'll give directly the floor to our next speakers and to the next building block, let's say, of our agenda. We've heard from you what is in there for the EU companies. Let's hear about voices of experience. We have today with us representatives from companies who have participated in the previous EU Gateway Business Avenues Tanit was mentioning. They will share their success stories and experiences, offering insights into the practical benefits of engaging with initiatives like the EU Business Hub program. So, welcome, Erwin. Welcome.
Hello.
Welcome, Daniel.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Nice to have you with us today. We are glad to have the opportunity to hear directly from your experience as European companies that took part in the previous programs. We have now on stage Daniel, Sales and Partner Support Manager at Swimsol, and Erwin, CEO at Evolution Energy. Both companies took part in business missions organized by the past program. So, thank you again for joining us and accepting our invitations to share your experiences, but also challenges, and I hope achievements in the Asian markets. So, I would say, first question: what motivated your company to participate in the program, and how did it support your company in navigating the complexities of doing business in Japan and Korea, as we heard? Erwin, if you don't mind, please take the
Yeah,
floor.
sure. For us, I would say we were, I would say, very interested in knowing more about the energy business and the smart energy business in Japan and Korea. And the thing is, you hear a lot about Japanese firms and Korean firms in Europe, but the best thing is to go there and see what is the reality and how it is possible to make business both in Japan and Korea, and also to partner with these companies. And so you need to go there. Definitely, it's type of, I would say, partnerships you need to build with the people there, and to really investigate what are their expectations and what are their business practices. And for us, it was extremely fruitful.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you very much. And let's hear from Daniel also. Same question. What was your motivation? What was the motivation of your company?
Sure. For this, I'll have to give you a very brief background about our company. So SwimSol is a solar energy company that focuses on small tropical islands, our main market being the Maldives, where you have a great potential for solar energy, but very little space on land. And for this reason, we developed a unique floating solar solution for marine environments. Now, ever since Fukushima, Japan has been investing heavily into renewable energy, especially also solar. But also in Japan, limited space on land is quite a constraint for solar energy. And that's why Japan was actually one of the first countries to implement floating solar systems on inland water bodies such as lakes, reservoirs. And they actually did this together with a French company, which is very successful in this market. So we saw many parallels and thought, wow, this could be a really interesting market for our technology. And let's take advantage of such a great program like the EU Gateway program, which provides you so much guidance, support, preparation to really get to know this market and to assess on site whether you have good chances in this market or not.
Thank you, Daniel. Also for the brief description, very interesting. I love actually to be PM of this program. I'm hearing so many news and getting so many information about what is going on as innovative solutions. Daniel, building on your last remarks, my next question is, what would be the most valuable resources, services, or the guidance you received? What would be the level of support you received that is totally helpful and that you would like to tell the others?
Sure. So first of all, I would say the preparation was amazing. You learn a lot about the Japanese market. You get great insights from the sector experts. You can ask them questions to really prepare yourself for going to Japan, to really assess how could I be successful there? Where could I be successful? And on the other hand, of course, Japan is a very culturally distinct country, you have to say. So you do also get a good introduction to the business culture, to the etiquette. What are the do's and don'ts? Because this is really, really important when dealing with Japanese business people. A further thing which I think was great is that your promotional materials are translated. You get Japanese business cards, and this is also very helpful for being on site. And finally, just during the event, you have an interpreter at your side all the time, which is inevitable if you really want to explain maybe a more complex technology or business model to Japanese businessmen or business people. And just generally always having somebody on site to support you, who you can ask questions and who just give you comfort in this very different market and place is just extremely helpful.
Mm-hmm. Wow, very interesting. Thank you. We know where to focus our efforts as well. Erwin, would you echo what Daniel said? And maybe I will top it with another question for you. In terms of strategic partnerships or collaboration, can you tell us a little bit more of the benefits of your companies in terms of international expansion efforts?
Yeah, sure. I will definitely echo what Daniel said. Without the support of the EU program, we will have arrived in Japan unprepared, to be frank, because you need to have brochures in Japanese and in Korean. You need to have interpreters. So that's a very strong support. They expect you to arrive prepared. And so that really, there are some different business practice, very nice ones, by the way. And then also the program for us, I didn't introduce that, but we provide a software solution to monitor large, I would say, energy players, both in the renewables industry and infrastructure. So we were keen to address also large, I would say, Japanese firms in like Hitachi, Sony, Panasonic, this type of players, but also in Korea, players like LG or Samsung. And addressing these people as, I would say, a small French SME is a challenge. But with the support of the EU program, they managed to have, I would say, good business meetings at very high level with these people, which we could never have managed ourselves, to be frank. And then what was extremely, I would say, not a surprise and a success is that we then managed to create a strong partnership with one of them that I cannot mention, by the way. But and that is really what you can expect or dream of in a way from the EU program is, in Japan or in Korea, it is possible for a EU SME to create a partnership with one of these giants. They will rely on your material for sure, on your success stories, and on your references. References is key if you go there. And so the EU program will explain you that, train you, tell you how to present your company in the way they expect. And that is the key to the success for me.
Yeah, I'm taking away references are keys. That's a good quote also to keep in mind. Daniel, would you like to echo and maybe tell us a little bit about your strategic partnerships then?
Sure, very happy to. So first of all, yes, I can very much echo what Erwin said. So first of all, going there, I was astonished on what really good meetings were arranged by the Gateway program. I had meetings with some of the biggest players in Japan, some of the biggest energy companies, technology companies, which were also really interested in what we were doing and sent very high level people to these meetings. So I think the foundation was there to be successful. I had many good talks, and also following the program, I stayed in touch with different big players who were very interested in actually bringing our technology to Japan. Unfortunately, shortly, like my missions were shortly before COVID, and then COVID came and kind of interrupted all kind of talks. And Japan also took quite a long time to reopen again. But we did stay in touch, and I think that is one good thing, that people do remember you. And if you write them today, they will remember you and they will be happy to resume talks with you. One really big success story I do want to point out is that back then we were actually looking for an investor for our company. And actually, this French company I mentioned earlier actually also got an investment from a Japanese company back then when they brought their technology to Japan. So this was kind of the role model that I was looking at. And during the mission, I got to know someone from one of Japan's biggest investment companies called Daiwa. And we actually managed to get in very good talks with them, and over 1 year convinced them that Swimsoul is a good investment case. And they actually made a significant investment into our company and bought a 20% stake in Swimsoul, which was a huge success for us and also a huge boost for our company.
That's really wonderful and quite concrete as well. No, as in terms of investments, that's really nice to hear. And that's definitely part of the success stories we want to hear from this program too. I also saw in the chat that we have a number of companies who have participated in the program before. So that's a nice network reunion we have also through this launching event. Erwin, I come back to you maybe. allez, in terms of advice and recommendation. So for those who were there, we hear, but many of them were not. We also have in the audience many business support organizations. What would be the advice or the recommendation that you would give to other companies considering to join the EU Business Hub, and based on your experience, of course?
I would say an advice that is not easy, I would say, as a CEO of a startup, is be prepared in advance. And yeah, that's because it can go fast. If indeed, when you will discuss with your product in Japan and Korea, they can, I would say, adopt your product. They can say, okay, when can we start business together? And it's not just a promise, it is if it does match one of their business requirement, be prepared to have your, I would say, documentation in Japanese, to, I would say, partner with the right people there, because they are business oriented. So, and they trust in your technology and your reference. So arrive there with your brochure, with everything, not last minute, because you could end this, in fact, business program with having contracts and partnership, which is not that common in Europe, to be frank. But there, you arrive, they trust you, you can make business. Be also prepared that it can be on the long run, because if your technology is not of key interest for them today, but they see a potential, you could, I would say, keep a multi-years relationship with them. They will never forget about your technology. And when they think there is a market for you, they will recontact you. So it's either very short or can be on the long run, but it's super positive experience.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's so insightful and so inspirational. And I really hope the message is passed on. Daniel, would you like to have some final advice as well or recommendations for us?
Yes, sure. So very basic. If you see any potential for your technology or service, just take part in this mission, because at a really low, reasonable cost, you will get an amazing exposure, you will get the right meetings, and you will really learn in this mission whether there's any chance for whatever you do in Japan or not. Preparation is, of course, key. As Erwin already said, maybe think a little bit about how could your business case, technology, whatever, be applied in this specific market. Speak with the sector experts, try to get as much information as possible. And when you speak with the people on site, really try to already adapt a bit to this. Don't just think about what you're doing maybe in Europe, but also think, how could this be applied specifically to Japan? And I think then you have a good chance of having a successful mission.
Thank you very much. So preparation is key. I'm also taking this as a very important echo and advice. Number one recommendation from what I'm hearing. Okay, thank you very much for sharing the experience, inspiring with the success stories, the investments, and the potential that it's there. I do hope now, turning to the audience, that you are just eager to know where and when and how to subscribe yourself to this program. That's for our next speaker, Nicoletta, who is Senior Project Officer at Eurochambre. Before giving the floor, as you can see, I like how the team is showing a little bit the questions. So again, Erwin, Daniel, thank you so much. Please stay in, stay connected, also tuned to the YouTube chat. If you don't mind engaging the conversation there and talking to the fellow EU companies who might have further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I'm welcoming Nicoletta. Nicoletta from Eurochambre, who will guide us through the business mission calendar and make you already prepared to express your interest and actually be like Daniel and Erwin in a few years, sharing your success story. This is what I hope. Nicoletta.
Thank you, Natalie, for the nice introduction. And I will try to be brief, but also to provide detailed information on the business mission calendar. So just to recap, I would like to just have one slide to recap a little bit on the business mission. So the EU Business Hub program will organize 20 business missions between 2024 and 2027. 10 missions in Japan and 10 missions in the Republic of Korea. So, business mission to the Republic of Korea will encompass the three priority sectors that we are now seeing in the slide, while in Japan, the priority sectors are the green and low carbon technologies and digital solutions. Each mission, each business mission will, let's say, focus on one priority sector and will allow a group of 50 innovative companies, SMEs, and startups to benefit from extensive business coaching. So let's have a look now at the mission calendar for the Republic of Korea. As you can see, it will focus on the three priority sector, and we will start in December this year. So the first mission, Digital Solutions Korea 2024, will run between the 2nd and the 6th of December in Seoul, and it will coincide with Softwave, which is an esteemed software trade fair. In 2025, there are three missions focusing on the three priority sector. The first one focused in the healthcare and medical equipment, so-called Healthcare and Medical Equipment Korea 2025. It would take place in Seoul in March of next year, and it will coincide with KIMES. KIMES is our Korea International Medical and Hospital Equipment Show. There will be 4 additional business missions organized in 2026 and 2 in 2027. So let's have a look a little bit at the companies we are looking for Digital Solutions Korea 2024. So as Sebastian said, there are some eligibility criteria that companies will need to comply. So eligible companies will comply to those criteria, and we are looking for SMEs and startups that are involved in the ICT, so in the information and communication technology sector, such as, for example, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, next generation computing, semiconductors, cybersecurity, extended reality, robotics, software, media and telecommunication infrastructure, blockchain, digital health, digital marketing and advertising, and fintech. So we are welcoming application from these companies, and let's have a look at the timeline for the application. So you will have until the 9th of August to submit your application through the website by creating a profile for your company. So the deadline is 9th of August, and on the 3rd of September you will receive an email with the outcome of the selection process. So there will be a communication of results. Those companies that are selected will meet for a pre-departure briefing on the 10th of October. And let's say almost 2 months later, there will be the Digital Solutions Korea 2024 from the 2nd to the 6th of December. So you will have the link and on the slide. So we are welcoming expression of interest and applications for this particular business mission. If we have a look at the calendar for Japan, so as said before, 10 business mission. For Japan, we are focusing on green and low carbon technologies and digital solutions. The first mission will be organized in December as well and will focus on digital solution, called as EU Business Hub at Semicon Japan 2024. Semicon is a trade fair show that involves companies related to the semiconductor value chain. It will run from the 9th to the 13th of December 2024 in Tokyo. Next year, we will have 4 different missions. The first one focusing on green and low carbon technology between the 17th and the 21st of February 2025, Tokyo, and it will be the EU Business Hub Smart Energy Week. Whereas the second mission of the 2025 again will take place in Tokyo between the 21st and the 25th of April 2025, EU Business Hub at Japan IT Week, so focusing on digital solutions. And again, they will be, let's say, alternating with the 2 additional missions for 2025, 3 missions in 2026, and last 2 missions in 2027. Let's go to the Semicon, so EU Business Hub at Semicon Japan, to know more about the companies we're looking for. So as said before, we are looking for companies that are involved in the semiconductor value chains. This could be manufacturers of sensor and electronic components, manufacturers of semiconductor manufacturing equipment or inspection equipment manufacturers, smart applications powered by semiconductor technologies such as automotive and Internet of Things, companies that are specialized in metal and machining such as metal processing, metal cutting, plating, and surface treatment. We also have a timeline, of course, for this business mission. So that will run between the 9th to the 13th of December. You will have until the 16th of August to submit your application via the program website, eubusinesshub.eu. Companies that submitted an application will receive the communication of results on the 9th of September. And there will be a pre-departure briefing on the 10th of October. 2 months later, there will be then the business mission EU Business Hub at Semicon Japan 2024. So we invite you really to have a look at our website, at the mission structure and mission catalog, so that you can express your interest and submit an application. So within the next slides, we just want to focus on the benefits. So why should you be participating in a business mission? Of course, as mentioned before, there's extensive coaching, strategic coaching that is being provided. Companies will participate in a pre-departure preparation. They will receive information on the markets, on the business cultures. There will be sector brief before the mission, but also on site, there are industry and sectoral briefing sessions and site visits to sector relevant facilities. Each company will have the opportunity to exhibit, to promote its products, its services and technologies through an individual exhibition space or booth that is organized within the business mission and have the entry ticket for the trade fair. As mentioned by Sebastian before, there's also the business-to-business matchmaking. So each company will receive an individual and tailored schedule of B2B meetings and matchmaking meetings with the key players and local companies. The EU Business Hub will also offer logistical support such as interpretation, support in the booth installation, as well as in the design and creation of a digital business mission catalog and digital promotion material. In terms of accommodation, the program co-finances the 80% of the accommodation cost with the maximum EU contribution of 1,000 euro per company. This means 4 nights stay, 1 room per companies at the hotels selected for the business mission. And also the program co-finances the 80% of the optional customized services with a maximum EU contribution of 1,000 euro per company. These include, for example, legal advice, forensic information, translation, printing, interpretation, and so on. So there will be a full list of services that a company can opt for. You've seen, so if we go to the next slide, you've seen there's a lot of information about the program. You can already actually consult our program website, but the team will also present both the program and the business mission through various occasions. First of all, after these events, there will be national launching events in the European Union that will be organized. There will be 2 local press conferences, one in Japan and the other in the Republic of Korea. We will be also participating at stakeholders events and organize regular online recruitment days where we displayed and disclose full details about the business mission that will be organized both at EU level, but also national and regional level in the EU. And we will be present also where companies are present as well at industry-specific events and trade fairs. So we invite really all the participants today to check our news and events page for regular updates, our business mission catalog, and to sign up to the newsletter. This is possible through, of course, a network of stakeholders. So if we go to the next slides, we can see we are collaborating and we are also seeking synergies with, of course, the Chambers of Commerce and Industry in Europe and bilateral Chambers of Commerce and Industry that I'm representing today, but also the European Trade Promotion Organization in Japan and the Republic of Korea, and other networks that are key for the success and the multiplying effect of the program, such as the Enterprise Europe Network and its EN contact points, and the clusters network to the ECCP, so the European Cluster Collaboration Platform. We're also in contact with industry, sectoral, and business association and other relevant stakeholders, such as EU initiatives that are supporting innovations, technologies, or that are supporting SMEs in their internationalization efforts. So with that, I give the floor back to you, Natalie. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nicoletta. And I hope this actually answers a couple of questions about the program and how to declare interest and submit their interest application. Thank you very much. Welcome back, Sebastian, and thanks, Nicoletta. So Q&A time. Some might say you are on the grill, but fortunately, it's not that sensitive questions. But let's dive a little bit here. Maybe I will start first by how can the program assist companies in their internationalization strategy and prepare before embarking a business mission? I hear this also from Daniel and Erwin that preparation is key. We heard a little bit the how we will prepare, but concretely, what should be the takeaway here today for the SMEs?
Yeah, I doubt that I can say it better than Erin and Daniel already did, because I think indeed I recognize a lot of elements of they said that are really important, and indeed that the program is geared towards supporting. So I've mentioned already in the presentation the strategic coaching that we provide. So that's really making sure that the participants are well prepared before the mission starts. With in-depth coaching sessions on market opportunities, local business culture, sector briefs, etc. I think that is something that is unique and very important to have. And this is then added on to by the individual matchmaking. I think there it's really about starting from your international strategy. Our coaches will support the participants in finding the right kinds of counterparts specifically for them. And I think that is really, really important. The aim is to have for each participant a number of B2B matchmaking meetings planned before they arrive in the target market for the business mission week, so that an agenda is already set up with relevant mission meetings. And I think that was also echoed by Edwin and Daniel. So that's really important. And then, of course, there are the networking sessions, etc., that aim to indeed increase the number of relevant meetings that the companies might have. And I think that's really important as well.
True. And we saw that we have some support here in the nice comments we see in the chat and flagged on screen. You wanted to add something?
No, just I think they were already mentioned by Nicoletta as well, but the logistical support I think is really important, enabling companies to focus on what is important for them, and of course the customized services, printing, translation as simpler services, but also legal advice and advice on regulatory matters and certification as relevant. Those are also co-funded by the program, so I think that's also an important opportunity for participants to take advantage of.
Very good point. Stressed by Daniel and Erwin as well, indeed, the customized services. Now, I'd like to get concrete. We have, for instance, from Slovenia, a company who did participate in the past. Can they participate again today if they are also prepared and go through the recruitment process?
Yes, you can. I think that was also mentioned on the chat already.
Yes.
No, I think what is important for the program and what is also recognized in the eligibility criteria is that establishing a successful business partnership in Japan or the Republic of Korea is not a one-shot effort. It's something that you need to nurture over time. And so that's why companies can participate multiple times within the time frame of this program now, the coming 4 years. But you know, the past experience is certainly not an exclusion criteria for that. I think that is recognized by the program, the fact that it will help you further your international business strategy.
Indeed. Impact is also something key here. And the more you are prepared and ready to go to market, that's also a good point.
Yeah.
About this, what about the selection criteria? We have a very interesting question from Julian, but that was echoed in other comments. What is the recruitment process? How we will recruit and select the companies to participate, Seb?
Very good question. As I mentioned, what we aim to do in the coaching during the application period for each business mission is to ensure that companies provide the right information in their application form, because that is really the basis for the assessment, right? So we have an online application form where we ask a number of questions that help our independent experts to assess each applicant on a number of key areas. So we have, for example, we look at the international business strategy and how that is formulated in the specific case of that company, capacity and viability to deliver on that strategy, and also the market potential. So there is an assessment from the side of looking from an EU business expertise point of view at the company, the aims, and what they intend to do, but also from the target market perspective. So we'll have different experts assessing each application from different perspectives in order to make sure that we take both perspectives into account in assessing each application. Now that results in some scoring and in comments on the potential of each applicant. And that is just one ingredient to the selection process. That's part of the as objective as possible assessment of each application, and to enable some comparison across. But of course, in the final selection that is made by the EU, a number of other elements are also taken into account, such as geographic balance and the representation of specific subsectors, etc. That ultimately lead to a final selection that should be a coherent group of high potential companies for each mission.
Okay. Can you now quickly remind us about the expenses that are covered? We did mention, but maybe just another reminder on exactly what is covered for the SMEs and what is the investment from their side.
Yeah, indeed. I think I saw a question on what do we have to pay as well. So in essence, of course, I think first of all, companies will put in effort in the, let's say, the 3 months leading up to each mission to put in the right resources to prepare for a successful mission. So that's one thing. There's a resource investment, a time investment to ensure a good preparation. Then when it comes to actual expenses, of course, the flight itself to the destination is not covered by the program. So that is something that each participant bears themselves. And then the program covers the accommodation expenses for the 4 nights in the mission hotel that is selected by the program, up to €1,000. And for the customized services that we mentioned, 80% of the costs are covered by the program. So that's a fairly high co-funding rate, if you will, with a maximum of €1,000 for each participant.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very clear. And all this information, you can find it again on our website and the information we share with you. Now, it's very late. Normally, I should do my very interesting closing remarks and the latest announcements. But before that, there was one question I really liked, and I would like you to try to answer to it, because it's more on the content and on the sector approach that we have. It comes from Legit Health. If a company actually offers a tool that empowers healthcare with artificial intelligence, does it apply to healthcare or to digital solutions?
Very good question. And it's a question that we'll get more often than not. And I think that's good, because EU companies who are eligible to the missions can apply to any business mission for which their solution can be relevant, right? So in this case, you might say, indeed, there are various business missions that are relevant. I think what is important for the EU company to consider is the elements that the business mission provides, and determine what kind of mission would be more valuable for them. For example, all our missions are organized in parallel to a major sector-related event in each country. So, as Nicoletta already presented. So, visiting or exhibiting at such events can be a major opportunity for EU companies and ensures that they reach out to the right target audience through that means. And so choosing the right mission there, I think, is very important in order to ensure that you are targeting the right audience beyond the services that, of course, we provide in a tailored way as well. So when it comes to the individual matchmaking, etc., we will, of course, do our best to find the right counterparts. But there are a number of different activities during the business mission week that are geared, for example, the networking events, etc., where a certain target audience should be kept in mind, I think.
Perfect. Well, unfortunately, there were so many other interesting questions I cannot voice now, but we will give answers in the chat or in by bilateral contacts. Don't hesitate to contact us. Sebastian, thank you very much. I'll move on now in the wrap-up moment of the day. As you can see on screen, you have additional information on social media, on LinkedIn. Please connect with us. I take a moment to thank you still, all of you, the incredible speakers, for their industry and market knowledge, for inspiring stories, for the political drive and commitment given by the ambassadors, the more information and the direction of the program, thanks to Tanit, Sebastian, Nicoletta. Many thanks, of course, to the whole EU Business Hub team and the team of both delegations for the work behind the scenes. Thanks, and most importantly, a big thank you for all the participants for having joined this event, participating with reactions, comments, questions. You have truly enriched our discussions and made this event a success, I believe. Before you go, please, I urge you to actually click on the link that was already shared with you on the chat and provide us your feedback. Take 1 minute. Here on screen, you can also have a QR code. Your input is extremely valuable in helping us improve the future events and make sure we address your needs, your expectations. So please take this moment now. And of course, if you missed any part of today's event and want to revisit it, we've got you covered. The recording will be available on our YouTube channel very soon. Now, I think my last words are to say that our door is always open. Whether you have more questions, feedback, or connection, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. You have now the EU Business Hub webpage. Please subscribe, stay connected via the newsletter. And once again, I thank you very much, all of you, for making today's event a great success. Until next time, take care and goodbye. Thank you all.